Whatever the occasion, effortless elegance is right this way. Because Hilton brings you new ways to stay courtesy of the Nomad London. And it doesn't stop at award-winning dining in a space draped in velvet and illuminated by vintage chandeliers. No, this day goes beyond with unparalleled personalized service and attentive hospitality. Oh, and did we mention the Nomad London can be booked using your Hilton Honors points at Hilton.com? Hilton, for the stay.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
From the Fifth Quarter Studios in Madison, Wisconsin, you're listening to Coach Unplugged. And now, your host, Steve Collins.
Hey everybody, welcome to Coach Unplugged episode. I have no idea, but before we get going, I'd like to big a shout out to our two sponsors. First of all, Dr. Dish, the #1 shooting machine on the market. Go over, mention Coach Unplugged, they'll give you $450 off and they'll take really good care of you. Before I forget too, if you like this podcast, go over and check out some of our other ones like High School Hoops, Coaching Youth Hoops, 5-Minute Basketball Coaching Podcast. If you're looking for that one defense that will work against anybody, the Funnel Down Defense Podcast, the Rule of 3 offense that will work at any level, go over and check those out. Leave a 5-star review. We would like those. But also go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. It's the one-stop shop for basketball coaches. It's resources, it's everything. It's what I would have wanted as a 27-year-old basketball coach. It's a roadmap to success on and off the court. And we offer a 14-day free trial because I'm a coach. I understand how it goes. Go over and check it out. Kick the tires around, see if it's for you. And if it's not, we'll part our ways and we'll say thank you and move on. But I guarantee you're going to love all the material and the material we're always putting in teachhoops.com. But anyway, have a great day, everybody. And let's head off the podcast.
Right. But around here, 56 inches would last. It'd probably last the whole summer.
Right.
So I found out I was moving here and I sent an email to basically every school within 45 minutes of Harrisonburg and just said, if you need a JV coach, if you need an assistant, if you have a head coaching job, whatever it is, I'm coming to the area and I want to coach. And I got an email back from a guy who's like, basically their coach had just walked out and had just quit. And he's like, I think we have an opening. I flew out from Colorado to interview and got the job at a public school here called Turner Ashby. And I they had not been very good at basketball. They had one stretch in the early 2000s where they had a good group come through, but like I think at the time they had not had back-to-back winning seasons in like 20 years and
right,
that sort of stuff. So,
but for the young coaches, you took the initiative on this. This thing ain't going to drop in your. I mean, I remember when I was doing it, I took a book that had every state, every high school in the state of Wisconsin. I'll send one here. I'll send one here. I'll send one here. It's like,
yeah,
you got to do some dirty work if you're going to do this.
Oh, absolutely. And yeah. I mean, at that time, I had only been coaching 4 years. Now, I felt like, poker players now can get really good when they're young because they play online. They play 7 or 8 tables at one time versus in the old days, you have to sit there and, play in person. So the amount of data and learning that you get can be so accelerated. Now, I felt like I'd only been coaching 4 years, but I was coaching 2 AAU teams in the summer, like a 7th grade and a varsity, plus coaching the freshman team during the season, plus being a varsity assistant. Like, I just felt like I had 15 years of experience in 4 years.
Right. Right. Well,
And
that's what I tell young coaches, go coach. Like, if
go
you want to
coach.
become a
Yeah.
coach, go coach and coach
Go.
as much as you possibly can.
You have to be in the seat, making decisions, taking bullets, dealing with parents, like losing, learning, doing all of that.
Like, yes.
So, but when we made the decision, honestly, at that time, I had been coaching 4 years and I had sort of stumbled into a pretty good situation at Boulder and with Coach Schultz, where I felt like, because of his experience and because he was the one that was saying that, I would like for Chad to take over, I had a good chance of getting it. But I knew people that have been coaching for 20 years and couldn't get a head coaching job. So I'm like, the reality is, if we move to Virginia, I'm probably not going to ever coach. I'm going to try, but like, I didn't expect to get a job with 4 years of experience.
Right.
But and when they asked me to fly out and interview, it's like, I said, okay, I mean, I definitely am in on this, and I'm not telling you, obviously you can't make a decision until you meet me, but I want to make sure I'm going to be very seriously considered if I'm flying from Colorado to Virginia to interview, like, and they're like, yeah, it's, you're basically in our final 3. So, and so I took that job, and we were not very good the first year. I mean, we were 5-18 with the varsity team, and the JV team was 2-18. So we were 7-36 combined. And I had just left a program where we went to the state championship. We had Mr. Basketball on our team. So, and I had coached that team in the spring, summer, and fall. They all played on my AAU team, and we went 77-17. So I went from that to, right. And we had, at the time, we had 53 D's and F's on a roster of 24 kids. Like we just were not getting it done off the court. We weren't getting it done on the court. And I had to make a bunch of difficult decisions. I had to clean house a little bit, and I had to get, put a lot of effort into the younger kids and get like an AAU feeder system going and all that stuff. So one of the things I'm most proud of as a coach is that next year we were 14-12 and the JVs were 16-2. So we went from 7 combined wins to 30 in 1 year.
Right.
And both teams started off 4-0.
And so how do you think that happened? Other than just, do you think it was the cleaning the house? Do you think it was the AAU? What do you think, for a younger coach listening, what do you think that was?
Well, I know what it was, and it was just grunt work. Like, literally, we were running what would almost be like an elementary level. I mean, I had kids that couldn't pivot. My best player, like, caught the ball on the high post, and I'm like, you got to turn and look opposite. And like, he would just twist his body. Like, he didn't know how to even pivot. So I started, and I'm glad that I did this. I can't believe how much it's helped me, now. And I coach pretty good teams now, but even still, some of that stuff has helped me just learn. I mean, I developed all my own finishing drills. I developed a bunch of footwork drills. I developed a bunch of shooting drills. I dove into the mechanics of shooting a basketball, which I found to be extremely similar to swinging a golf club.
Right.
In a lot of ways. And like, what you feel isn't necessarily real, and all sorts of things that really became my mission, was to teach people to shoot. And so, yeah, I kind of went down that path. And I mean, the bottom line is I had kids that were willing to be coached, and they were willing to show up every day and do the work. I mean, it wasn't any magic wand. It was just, we would lift for an hour, shoot for an hour, and play for an hour every single day. Lift, shoot, play, lift, shoot, play, lift, shoot, play. And eventually we got to where we were pretty good. So yeah, starting off that second year there, both teams started off 4-0. So we won 8 games, which was more than we won the whole previous season combined. And we went to the regional tournament. It was the first time in like 12 years and did all sorts of good stuff. So, and we broke the school record for 3-pointers that year. And then we turned around and broke our own record the next year, where we won 15 games. So, yeah, we had a pretty good 4-year stretch there. I had a kid who was in 7th grade when I got there. They had him as a post player on the 7th grade team just because he was the tallest kid. He was like 6'2".
Right.
And the kids basketball IQ and everything, in my mind, he was a point guard. So how I wanted to develop him, which led to some disagreements with the middle school coaches because they wanted to plant him under the basket,
They wanted to win games, which is a horrible thing to do at that level too. It's like,
Yes.
come on.
So then out here in 8th grade, you can play JV. So we moved him up to the JV team as an 8th grader. And I told him, like, you're going to play point guard. And he said, well, like, what if we get pressed and I can't get the ball up the floor? I said, then you're going to have a long year. I mean, you better figure it out. Like,
right.
And he did get pressed. And he did have games where he had 10, 11 turnovers. But he was long and he was a big guard in my mind. And I liked that he could see over the top and do some things. And he was just the kind of kid that I felt like if he was our best player, everyone else we had a chance to be special.
Right.
And he got a Division I offer his freshman year, which was the first one in school history. He ended up playing Division II, and he's a senior this year, like having a great year, great career at the D2 level. But that really changed our program, and it was a variety of things that led me. Then at that time, there was a local D3 school that was really good called Eastern Mennonite University. I work at Eastern Mennonite High School. They're not affiliated in any way.
Really?
I mean, they like that. I guess that would be a poor thing but they're not together. They're not the same institution.
Right. Yeah. They're separate people. Different people are running them basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we're all one campus here and similar philosophies. So the coach there, they were nicknamed the Running Royals. They were like top 10 every year in the country with like points scored, and like they played very, very fast. And I'd gone to their team camps and I'd go to their practices a lot and really developed a relationship with the head coach, a gentleman named Kirby Dean. And he had, talked me into come to Eastern Mennonite and being his assistant. So it was a tough decision to leave Turner Ashby because I just kind of turned that program around.
Right. So what was your takeaway from the time as a head?
I mean, I loved it and I wanted to be a head coach. I knew there was going to be more joy in that for me than being an assistant, but really I'm from Indiana and high school basketball is king, and it's difficult for me to be in a place where it's kind of like, oh, you guys are good. That's cool. Like, maybe you can keep it going, but as long as, we don't have to really, as long as you don't create any problems, you can be good.
Right.
But we had some situations where like kids started wanting to go in the summer into our team camps and wanted to do stuff in the fall and maybe not play football. And we were a baseball and a football school first and foremost. And the interesting part of that is that my first year, believe it or not, my first year here, it's not that long ago at Turner Ashby, was the first year in Virginia that coaches were allowed to do anything in the off season.
Okay.
That had never been allowed. So I come in, I'm having these open gyms, we're going to team camps, we're doing all this stuff. And then some kids were sort of defecting to basketball, and it made it to be like, well, that's because he's, doing all this stuff and talking them out of, playing other sports. So I learned a lot about the politics of coaching during that time, and it was in a town that like I wasn't from there and I was never going to be from there in some people's eyes. And a lot of the people that I was interacting with and maybe in some ways having issues with. Like they went to school there, their kids went to school there, they're lifers,
Right.
and rather than have any of that, like I didn't feel like we could continue to be successful because of some of the limitations that were being put on my program because we were becoming popular within the school. I just didn't, it wasn't a situation I thought would be positive for me.
Right. I think well, here, first of all, there's a huge difference between the 12 inches on that bench.
Yeah.
Sliding down 12 inches is a big deal.
As Bob Knight says, it's the difference between suggestion and decision. And that's a big
one of my first JV coach, basically he stayed with me for a really long time. He basically told me it was the best job in the world. We'd won a couple. He goes, I don't have any of the headaches you have, Steve. I have none of it. I mean, I get all the glory. It's great. Yeah. I think, and this is just me, I think taking a head job, even if it's sometimes not the perfect fit, you learn a lot. You got to be willing to, try to find that perfect fit. But, there's lots of things you can do to get ready for that first job. But until it's basically like you got to get thrown in the deep end. You got to get through it. You got to get through it.
And yeah, it's not very often. I mean, usually jobs are open for a reason. Right. So if you're
sometimes it's because like when I retire, it's gonna be open because I retire. That's cool. But there's usually a reason. And you got to do a little. I always tell coaches, do some deeping into why,
Yeah. So I mean, I was willing to take any job at that time. And for the school, so the guy that was my AD, he had been the coach for 18 years. So the program was kind of his baby. And then his longtime assistant took over and had it for 4 years, and it didn't go very well. And I think people were pressuring them to get someone outside of their network. And they were like the only school in the area that didn't have AAU. All the other schools kind of had AAU feeders. And so that was something I had just built in Boulder. It was called the Boulder Blaze. And I mean, we were doing really well out there. So yeah, there were a couple coincidences, I think, that led me to being a good fit. One of them was I wasn't from here. And people were pressuring them to, let's get someone else like outside.
To be honest with you, that you were willing to fly in is like crazy. Like,
yeah. Well, I'm from Indiana again. Like, it is what it is.
No, I mean, it'd be interesting in the post-pandemic world if they'd make you do that.
What does every USAA member have in common? Family. We're one big family who supports the military community and their eligible families. And if you, your parent, or spouse served, you could join our family and save big on auto insurance. Visit USAA.com/join today to check your eligibility. Membership eligibility and product restrictions apply and are subject to change. USAA means United Services Automobile Association and its affiliates, San Antonio, Texas.
The new McCrispy Strip is here. Dip approved by ketchup, tangy barbecue, honey mustard, Sprite, McFlurry, Big Mac sauce, double dipped in buffalo and ranch, more ranch, and creamy chili McCrispy Strip Dip. Now at McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Yeah, you could Zoom now. I mean, there was no.
You could. So when I applied, because I applied for when I moved and got to where I am in Madison, they wanted to do a Zoom call. It wasn't as called that at that point. And I said, no, I'm flying. I was at grad school out in New Hampshire. I said, no, I'm flying home to do the interview. And the reason I did that, here's the reason I did that, is I sell myself better in person. I mean, you can only do so much via this flat screen and in a Zoom.
Right.
I knew if I got in that room, I got a shot. Like I can sell myself one-on-one with people. So you got to kind of know yourself a little bit too, but being willing to do that and then being there like 6 feet from them is a big deal, I think.
Yeah, I think that probably went a long way in showing them the passion that I was going to bring to the job. And
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
like you. I mean, I would have jumped in the car and driven all night if I had to. I mean,
Right.
I'm a golfer. I'm a nomad. That was my thing anyway. So, because I need to be in person, and I'm not afraid to say, I don't want this to sound cocky, but it probably will. But I also felt like I was interviewing them, and that
Right.
I needed to be in person and look them in the eye to
You also
see
wanted
what
to
I was
see, I
getting in.
also wanted to see what the town, I mean, I was from Madison. I wanted to
Yeah,
see what it looked like, the area around it, like how are, what's the, you'll love this. I drove around to see how many basketball hoops I saw on driveways.
right. Yeah, and I wanted to walk into the gym and see what it felt like when I walked in there. What's hanging
Right.
on the wall? Do they
Right.
take any pride in it at all? Like
Right.
100%,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
100%.
I
Yeah.
think that's really important. So
So
then you were the
interestingly,
assistant at the college level for a while then.
yeah. So I was an assistant for 3 years for Coach Dean at Eastern Mennonite, and we in the ODAC conference, which is the Old Dominion Athletic Conference, it's a Division III conference here in Virginia and in Carolina, like surrounding areas. I mean, it's kind of like the ACC of Division III. It's I mean, Randolph-Macon is the best team in the conference, and they've been #1 D3 team in the country. I think maybe 3 out of the last 4 years. I mean, historically, we have like top 5 nationally ranked
Have they
teams.
won it?
Well, they haven't had it now for 2 years, I guess. So
I know Oshkosh. I'd put the Wisconsin League against them any day, probably.
yeah, on par, I'm sure. Yeah,
Well, look at all the Whitewaters, the Platteville's, the Oshkosh, I think won it 2 years ago.
yeah,
Yeah. So interesting. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So they, I mean, to be to be top 6 in the ODAC, you need to be top 50 in the country.
I agree.
Is kind of yeah. So I learned so much about basketball, and it really Coach Dean was the perfect person at that time for me to work for, because he taught me so much about how to deal with all the other things that a coach has to deal with
Yes.
that are not basketball related. And it was like getting a PhD in the politics of coaching and dealing with people. And I mean, I loved the recruiting aspect. Obviously loved coaching at the college level. It's insanely high level.
So were you in charge of recruiting?
I wasn't really in charge of any, like we all sort of did it all.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, we would have little areas that were kind of our areas to recruit. And because Division III rules allowed me at that time to run an AAU program. Like when Eastern Mennonite was not in season, I was allowed to run an AAU program and coach it.
Okay.
Which if
You
I
can't
was a Division I or Division II assistant, you could never do that.
Okay.
And so
can you
I
still
knew
do
I
that?
was gonna. What's that?
Can you still do that?
You can still do that. Yeah. Yeah. So I started my program, the Virginia Blaze, which it was the Boulder Blaze in Colorado, and now we're the Virginia Blaze. And it's going really, really well. We've put a bunch of kids, in college at the next level. And like we've been having a really good spring. Like I said, we won a hoop group event, which was like a national event just a couple weeks ago. So, but I knew I was going to be in the gym all summer recruiting, so I might as well have a team
Right.
to coach while I'm there. And I missed being an assistant. I missed having that head coaching. I missed that role. And for me, that was going to be fulfilling enough. If I could coach high level AAU in the summer and be a college assistant in the winter. I mean, Coach Dean, I could stop practice anytime I wanted or tell him I thought we should do this or do that, and he would listen. So I was very happy.
Right.
But after 3 years, he retired.
Okay.
So he typical of the D3 coaching ranks, he was offered a job to run the county rec department, like all their sports around here, and it paid him significantly more than what he was making.
People don't realize being a Division III basketball coach. Trust me, I make more teaching
Yeah.
math than they do being a D3 coach, to be honest.
For sure.
Hey, everybody, I hope you're enjoying this. If you are, maybe go over and check out Coach Collins' other podcasts, Teacher's Side Gig and High School Hoops. Subscribe, like, leave a 5-star review, maybe. And then also you can go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. All right, have a great day.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Memorial Day doorbuster deals are here at Lowe's. Right now, Rewards members save $80 on the Master Forge 4-burner gas grill, now just $149. Plus, Rewards members save $900 on the Lowe's exclusive Hisense French door refrigerator, now only $999. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 5/26. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for more details. Program subject to terms and conditions. Details at Lowe's.com/terms. Subject to change.